So I thought I'd do a quick look at how I grow my seedlings. I donate hundreds of seedlings to the local PTA plant sale and so forth, so I go way more than I need. So a little over 900 seedlings on this rack, mostly over 2 layers. On top I have my eggplants and peppers, and then down below I've got lots of tomatoes. And they're all currently in these 72 cell trays, so they're tight. And this is part of sort of growing them for a very specific date for a plant sale, for instance. They should be potted up, but I'm kind of holding them still now so that they don't get too huge too early for the sale. And that's one thing I see a lot online. People see the little tiny seedling like, oh, pot it up, pot it up. It's like, well, you can grow them for a long time, and you keep them alive. They may not, they might be looking for a little more nutrition and so forth, but a little more root room, but they'll be okay. Got my eggplants dropping their cotyledons, and that's just part of them growing up. So let's take a look here at some of these. So in here is, these are all mostly anums in terms of peppers. Some bacatum. I have ají pineapple and ají colorado, both growing this year. And then the back of this tray is where all the super hots are, the chinenses, and they always grow much slower. Those are the ones I should have started earlier. Pretty much everything here was started in the beginning of March. We're now not even at April 10 yet, and you can see I don't know how people start things. And I see people saying I'm starting my seedlings, and they're in zone 7 and they're starting them in January. It's just they get big quick. And as I said, they're all, you can see these are all in these 72 cells, and they would like to be potted up, and I'll do that in about a week for one sale on the 23rd, and then a week or so after that I'll do it for a sale at the end of the month for the PTA. So a little over 900 seedlings here, and again, you can see some of these tomatoes in particular are getting a little yellowy, a little grumpy with being in these smaller trays. A lot of heirlooms here, some are more finicky than others, but once I pot them up, they'll green right up, they'll be happy. These will be fine. It's no reason to freak out when you're looking at your plants and they don't look perfect. And also another thing to be aware of is a lot of LED lights. These are not particularly expensive lights. Really don't have the full spectrum. They have a lot, and some plants respond much more to that than others. Peppers seem to be fine. Tomatoes I do find some finicky. So down here, for instance, is my these are all my grafted tomatoes. About 60 of these here, and lost a couple, but almost all of them made it. But you can see here I have actually some UV light on these, because there's a lot of research that shows that the lack of UV light is one of the things that creates edema in the rootstocks. In particular, they're very picky. So when these were plants as rootstocks, I did start to see edema on them. These lights definitely helped. Last year I actually lost some just because of the edema got so bad. It actually crippled the plants, got right down into the stems. So don't just think that bright light is all you need. That there's really a lot more to it, but this is good enough light to get them grown and get them out there and have them, be ready to go in just a little over 2 weeks now for the first batch, and then a week after that for the other ones. So anyway, sort of just holding them still here, but I just wanted to just show a quick look of how I'm growing, 900 plus seedlings on one rack. Really, most of them on just two of the shelves, plus my little grafted ones down below. Yep, so you can squeeze a lot in, and once I pot them up, they'll be done outside, and they'll be hardened off right away. That's one thing growing with LEDs, you keep them close enough May not be the perfect spectrum, but you don't have to worry as much about the brightness and hardening off. But when I grew under fluorescents, you had to be real careful or you'd get a lot of sunburn on the leaves right away. These can take pretty much almost full day sun right away. So anyway, that's the forest growing in my basement. And of course, fans going and trying not to overwater. It is hard when you have this many plants to try and get them all evenly watered all the time, always from the bottom. But they're doing well, and they'll be ready to go. So you don't have to rush to pot things up. You can keep them happy enough, keep them healthy to slow them down so you're not dealing with giant plants inside. If your plants are getting big, don't get alarmed and start potting them up, because you're just gonna get them bigger and bigger. And I always see that with people with these giant plants trying to squeeze them in under the lights, and really small plants transplant better a lot of times. So that you're not gonna gain all that much by getting them huge before you put them outside. Just kind of give yourself a heart attack trying to take care of them. So anyway, good growing. I hope everybody else's seedlings are doing great, and hope to see some of these growing in people's gardens in the area, come summer.